In the absence of Thomas Partey and Mo Onani due to AFCON, Arsenal are extremely light in the midfield department. So with that in mind, are they eyeing up a move for Leicester City's Youri Tielemans? Also, what have reports in Italy today claimed about Artemelo, and if Arsenal signed a brand new left back? Let's find out in today's episode of The Transfers FC. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Balf14 and welcome back to your boys channel. I just want to say thank you for all the recent support because it has been amazing. But as per, make sure to go down there and smash a like on the video, and also do subscribe if you're new, and help your boy who's less than 500 away from the big 70k. But getting into the Arsenal transfer news and starting off with Arsenal's central midfield targets. Over the past few days, we've discussed the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, Artemelo and Georginio Wijnaldum. But in terms of Arsenal, what they showed in the last transfer window is they also like to sign players out of the Premier League. And so with that in mind, could they move for Leicester City's Youri Tielemans? Well, according to Charles Watt today, he says that Arsenal have held talks with the agent of Youri Tielemans over a potential move to the Emirates in the last few weeks. The 24-year-old is unlikely to leave Leicester this month, but the Gunners could return in the summer. So according to Mr. Charles Watt, Arsenal have held negotiations behind the scenes with the people of Youri Tielemans. At 24 years of age, Premier League proven, and over the years of Leicester has proven time and time again its overall quality in the Premier League. He has fantastic ability on the ball, an eye for a pass, and ultimately can affect the final third. And even though there are a few questions over his overall stamina, in my eyes Youri Tielemans is an absolute baller and a player the boy has always appreciated. And in terms of Ben Jacobs of CBS Sports, he is claiming that Leicester hope to keep Tielemans this month, but having not agreed a new contract and with his agent exploring summer options, a big offer in January might change that. Mikel Arteta admires him and Arsenal tried to sign him before when he was at AS Monaco. So not only do Arsenal have long-term standing interest, but most importantly, Mikel Arteta is a very keen admirer. And I can totally understand why. If Arsenal were to sign Tielemans, it'd give Arsenal this immense control in that central midfield. I think Tielemans is a far better player on the ball than Granit Xhaka, and in my eyes he'd be the perfect player in terms of Mikel Arteta's ideal 4-3-3. In terms of the player that's able to get forwards and defend as well, Tielemans is the perfect player for that sort of role. But what is most important about Youri Tielemans is his overall Leicester City contract. Now that is set to expire in 18 months, which puts Leicester in a very difficult position, because essentially speaking, if they don't cash in now, they're going to lose a lot of money in the summer. Allowing Tielemans to enter the final year of his contract gives the likes of Arsenal and any other team that wants to sign Tielemans a massive advantage. No matter how good a player is and how old he is, when a player is in the final year of his contract, his value is always going to plummet. But the fact that Tielemans is such an important player to his Leicester City side, I highly doubt they want to let him go in this specific transfer window. And so with that kept in mind, I think this is more of a summer transfer. But what do you guys make of the player that is Youri Tielemans, and if it came down to you, is he a player that you guys want to see Arsenal sign? But if Arsenal can't sign Tielemans in this transfer window, Arsenal still are going to need a new midfielder. But could that be Juventus' Artemelo? Well, according to RMC Sport today, Arsenal are in advanced negotiations with Juventus to sign Artemelo on loan. Advanced negotiations to sign Artemelo on loan according to reliable RMC Sports. And I think this does make sense because in terms of Arsenal, it seems like they are prioritising signing a brand new centre forward in this market over a brand new central midfielder. Hence why they're allocating most of the funds on Dusan Vlahovic. But with the midfield still being an issue for Arsenal, at least for parties at AFCON, they are looking for a more short-term stopgap, and that is what Artemelo represents. And even according to Mr. Here We Go Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal will definitely go for a new midfielder. Arteta has been discussed internally as reported here days ago. He is in the board and Arteta has listed together with 2 more candidates, but it is not advanced with Juventus yet. Arsenal do have long-term targets, and likes of Guimaraes, Tielemans and other players are surely on that list, but the chances of Arsenal spending massive money on a midfielder alongside a striker in this window is highly unlikely. And so with that kept in mind, I think Artemelo on the short term I guess does make sense if you're looking for a short-term stopgap. And even according to Calcio Mercato in Italy, Arteta is nearing a move to Arsenal. The Brazilian midfielder has an agreement in principle with the Gunners and is enthusiastic about the prospect of playing in the Premier League. The loan deal will go through when Juventus find a replacement. So in terms of the player, he is more than happy to play for our gargantuan institution, and Arsenal are looking to complete a deal. And this is also echoed by Charles Watt, who says that Arsenal are exploring the option of signing Arteta on loan until the end of the season. Juventus have made it known during discussions that they would be happy to strike a deal, but nothing will happen until they find a replacement. So Juventus do want to let go of Arteta, but they need to sign a replacement first. And in terms of the player they're targeting, according to Charles Watt, that player is Lyon's Bruno Guimaraes, a player Arsenal also believed to be keeping tabs on, but the finances involved involved to do a deal with the Brazilian this month makes any transfer difficult. Now, I'm not really ultimately against Arsenal signing a short-term player like Artemelo in this window, especially if they sign a centre forward. But if they allow one of their more long-term targets in Guimaraes to go to Juventus by signing Arta, that would be a dagger to your boy's heart. But as Charles Watt says there, and Fabrizio Romano has said in the past, the difficulty in Bruno Guimaraes is any deal is going to be very expensive. But speaking on that, according to Get French Football News today, they claim that Lyon are providing clubs with two options, either €45 million up front including bonuses, or a loan with a €45 million obligation to buy. Now, on paper that sounds amazing, but to your boy it is too good to be true. Because after all, if Arsenal do have confirmed interest and appreciate Guimaraes, if he was to be available on a loan with an obligation to buy, meaning Arsenal could sign the player now and pay for him later, then why wouldn't Arsenal do that over Artemelo? The fact here is Guimaraes is too important to Lyon, who there's no chance whatsoever they let go on a loan with an obligation to buy. But now that you've heard all the latest reports, what are your guys' thoughts on Arsenal's pursuit for a brand new central midfielder? And would you be happy with the short-term loan transfer of Artemelo? Moving on to the other Arsenal transfer news, and starting off with a done deal, a player that Arsenal have signed out of West Brom, and that being a left back. Because according to Chris Wheatley with an exclusive, Arsenal have signed highly rated left back Lino Sosa from West Brom. The player made his under-23s debut at 16 years old and is described as an athletic fullback who reads the game well and has a lovely left foot. So Arsenal have signed the player, but it is for the Arsenal Academy, and it looks like Hale End is at it again. The Arsenal Academy is getting better day by day, and credit must go to Per Mertesacker. And talking about the Arsenal Academy, they battered the Chelsea under-23s yesterday, winning the game 4-1 with goals from the likes of Mari Hutchinson and Marcelo Flores. The Arsenal Academy is the definition of Amazon Prime delivery, top youngster after top youngster, and it saves Arsenal so much money. Just deep it for a single second, how much do you guys think the likes of Bukayo Saka and Emil Smith Rowe would cost in the current transfer markets if they were signed instead of being produced by Academy? We are talking gargantuan money there, so long may Hell End continue. And talking about done deals, Middlesbrough today have confirmed welcome to Borough following Balogun. The Arsenal youngster joins on loan until the end of the season. Signed, sealed and delivered. I've already given my thoughts on Balogun going down to the Championship. I think it is a tremendous move. To work under a manager like Chris Wilder, for me, it's only going to be beneficial. But talking about strikers and Arsenal, let's talk Dusan Vlahovic. I mean, did you really think that I could go an entire video without speaking about this man? According to James Horncastle of the Reliable Athletic, Arsenal have spoken 30 times with Fiorentina about Vlahovic. They know the price and they know what would be an acceptable framework to get it done. And the likes of Edu Gaspar and Mikel Arteta seem very stubborn to sign the player in this specific transfer window. But in terms of the Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta, when he was asked on the Vlahovic rumours, he said, "I'm really sorry to disappoint you, but I am not going to be discussing any transfer rumours." Now, he did say this with a massive smile on his face, so you guys can make of that what you will. But in terms of Arsenal's pursuit of Vlahovic, a lot of people, including him, have questioned whether Vlahovic wants to come to Arsenal in the first place. But in terms of Mikel Arteta, he says, historically this is a club that has always been targeting the best players in the world, and the best players are always interested to come here, and I can say the situation hasn't changed. Anytime I've spoken to any player, they are so willing to come. So by Mikel Arteta's own admission, in terms of players that he has spoken to, these players all want to come to Arsenal Football Club. And also in terms of Arsenal, it would go against the entire transfer policy for them to sign players that don't want to play for Arsenal in the first place. In fact, in terms of Mikel Arteta's entire project, it all goes around the non-negotiables, and one of the non-negotiables is wanting to play for Arsenal Football Club. So in my eyes, it's the fact that Arsenal remain so persistent in signing Dusan Vlahovic, they put the money on the table and they keep on knocking on that door. To me at least, it confirms that these guys know Vlahovic does want to come to Arsenal. Because if that wasn't to be the case, ask yourself the question, why would they waste so much of their precious time in what is such an important transfer window? According to reports in France, talks are advancing between Arsenal and Marseille for Sead Kolasinac for the player to join this month. With Kolasinac, it is very clear, a player on massive wages, and wages that I am sure that Marseille don't want to pay. And so with that being the case, I think the best thing here is a mutual termination, but this all goes back down to the player, a player that is earning well over £100,000 a week. Is he willing to sacrifice that money to play more first team minutes? Because if that was to be the case, I am sure that Arsenal would rip up Kolasinac's contract straight away. Because after all, who on earth thought it would be a great idea to give a bodyguard over £100,000 a week? According to Gianluca Di Marzio, Udinese have accelerated talks for the loan of Arsenal defender Pablo Mari and want to complete negotiations in a short time. The deal would be a straight loan with no buy option included. It looks like Arsenal see Pablo Mari as a player surplus to requirements, and after all, with Arsenal also out of the FA Cup, where on earth is Pablo Mari going to get his minutes? So with that all kept in mind, I think a loan makes a lot of sense. Now I personally would love to see an obligation to buy, but if Arsenal were to get a cheeky little loan fee and Udinese were to also pay his wages, then I think this transfer does make a lot of sense. Okay, let's move on to the other Arsenal news today. And starting off with a certain Nuno Tavares, who of course was taking off in the 34th minute against Nottingham Forest, embarrassed in front of the world. How on earth is he going to recover? Well, according to Mikel Arteta, he says some experiences aren't pleasant, but most of those, if you can take them the right way, are the ones that help you become a better person or player. I think a lot of fans have actually overreacted. Yes, I understand that it wasn't the best, but Tavares was putting in an all-time stinker, and he nearly even scored an own goal from the halfway line. And ultimately speaking, I think it all goes back down to characters. Certain players do need an arm around the shoulder, but in terms of other players, they require a kick up the backside. And I think Arteta sees Tavares as one of those sort of players, a player that needs to be embarrassed in front of people to unfortunately come to senses. And some people might disagree, but this of course all goes back down to man management. Now we're going to really find out the character of this player, and let's see how he responds. But what do you guys make of Mikel Arteta's treatment of young Nuno Tavares, and is it something that you agree or disagree with? Introducing Arsenal's December Player of the Month with 7 games played, 3 goals scored and 2 assists, it is Gabriel Martinelli. Pele's godson is Arsenal's Player of the Month and fully deserved, scoring goals for fun, getting assists and overall having such a great impact. But now that he's playing in the first team as that left winger, I want to ask you guys a question. What do you guys see as the best future position for Gabriel Martinelli? Is he more of a left winger or is he potentially a long-term centre forward? Jurgen Klopp and Arsenal says they are in a really good place. Mikel is doing an excellent job there. It's really exciting to watch. They have a good setup and a clear idea, so I think they've improved a lot between the last time we played them. Words of praise and admiration towards Mikel Arteta, but in terms of these two guys, they're going head to head tomorrow in a Carabao Cup semi-final with a chance to play in the Carabao Cup final against Chelsea on the line. Of course, it is the first leg, so Arsenal still have the game in the Emirates, but in terms of Arsenal's next 2 games, Liverpool away and Tottenham away, 2 massive tests for Arsenal. How on earth is Arteta going to line up, and who is going to play in the Arsenal central midfield? With Partey and Onana both away at AFCON, Xhaka was also not seen in training. So with that being the case right now, Arsenal only have Charlie Patino and Albert Sambi Lokonga. But with that all in mind, what are your guys' thoughts going into the game tomorrow, and what are your Liverpool versus Arsenal matchday predictions? But that is the video there. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to go down there and smash a like on the video, and also do subscribe if you are new. If you would like to follow your boy on them social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was the latest episode of the Transfers FC. Central midfield, centre forward, yes, a lot of priorities, but tomorrow the focus is on Anfield, semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Come on you Gunners, and I will see you guys next time in 8 minutes.